2026, and you're listening to the Tech Addicts podcast. Brace yourself. This week, a Googlebook laptop news roundup. The A1200 is officially an Amiga. TLC's got a Jedi-like smart lock framework. Laptops get a major upgrade. Ted's got on a shopping spree. And Gemini's going to be everywhere soon. Welcome to the Tech Addicts podcast. I am your host, Gareth, back as always, as you can constantly rely on me. Yes.
Well done.
Oh, that's Ted. He sometimes turns up, on time, sometimes. Rarely.
Yes, indeed. Hello. Weather report from North Wales is that it's sunny, but it's actually quite nice. It's verging on pleasant, I have to admit. It's kind of not hot, but it's still a bit sunny here and there, and it's not humid. Mind you, I did see that this week coming that we might be getting a kind of mini heat wave. Hopefully it doesn't reach us. I bet it's nice and cool up there. You've got Storm Agnes on the way, though, haven't you?
Do we? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, apparently. It's heading across the Atlantic.
Ah, right, okay. So that's why from Wednesday it is rain. I see.
Yeah.
No, it's to be sunny today, although looking out the window I don't concur. Monday is supposed to be sunny and Tuesday is supposed to be sunny, so great. 20 degrees tomorrow, so it's a nice day tomorrow. Oh, I'm in the office.
Very nice.
Well, we can't have everything when it comes to the weather, and Ted will grumble no matter what it is.
Yes, I love it.
You love grumbling.
To be fair, I just said some very positive things about the weather today, so don't you start on me.
Well, you're only saying that for the benefit of the listeners, so that you're not moaning all the time. Anyway, on the show this week... Gemini is becoming the default AI presence everywhere you look, whether you want it or not.
Framework Laptop 12 gets a major upgrade.
TCL's got a Jedi-like smart lock.
And Sony have got the WH-1000XM4C coming along, which we touched on last week, but more news today. The classic XM4 returns.
And something else we touched on last week, the A1200 is now officially an Amiga product.
And lastly, well, not lastly, but in terms of headlines, we have a bit of a roundup on the whole Googlebook and aluminium OS scene, so look forward to that.
Ooh, right. So loads on the show this week. Wow, incredible. But first off, we're going to go straight into a bit of feedback on last week's episode, and it's from Ted Salmon.
No feedback from any other bugger. So I'll feedback and say that I did go off after the last show and install GOG.
Good old games.
As I was challenged to, and headed into Amazon to see what I could pick up for free, and blah, blah, blah. When I signed up, I thought I was signing up to GOG. I was actually signing in, because I suddenly remembered we've been through this loop before, and I've tried it before, and I've done it before, and sure enough, there were my 7 games sat there from the last time I did this. And the only one that I really spent any time with was SimCity 2000, because I remember it from days gone by. I did look at GOG games, and I did look at Amazon's free or included to download games for Prime users, and honestly, Gareth, I can't find anything that I'm interested in. They all seem to be kind of childish, warrior type. The whole gaming scene to me just seems to be not for me anymore. In the days gone by of SimCity 2000 and Pinball and Pac-Man and Space Invaders and all those all those games Mario stuff, that I actually did enjoy and liked. It's just, it's such a different landscape now, and none of these games I found are much better off with an Evercade, I think.
Well, yes, or that what's that other retro game platform online, Anthem or something, Anthem or
there's abandonware.
No, there is, but that's kind of the grey area of illegally getting or not illegally getting stuff, but there's an online store now called Antstream. Antstream. And that's all kinds of games like you're talking about, good old NES games, SNES games, that kind of two-dimensional action arcade games, all available, and you can play them that way, and it costs, I don't know, like £3 a month or something like that. And they've got millions of games.
Okay, I'll look at that then, because that would be much more up my street. But the other thing is that I did try and play this one game that I downloaded, and it became very obvious that it was such a fiddle with a keyboard and mouse that I just felt as though I needed a joystick if I was going to play this properly, or some other controlling device rather than keyboard and mouse. So, I just don't think it's for me, really. And that's clearly what I decided last time I downloaded GOG.
Just want to highlight the word there, joystick. Yes, that's what you need. You need a joystick. A good old-fashioned quick-shot joystick.
Oh, controller. That's what they're called, aren't they? A controller. I had one of those from the abandoned Google project. What was that called?
Strife. Yeah, began with an S.
Right.
Stadium.
Stadia. Blimey, stand by.
Hello?
Stadia, that's it, yeah. I need to reply to this. Can you talk for a minute? Because I need to reply to this message that someone sent me, like now, or I shall be up the Swanee.
Okay.
Talk for a minute.
That's no problem. I thought you were off to waggle your joystick for a wee while. But yes, Antstream is a fun little online arcade subscription service, but it gets away from what we were actually discussing, which was GOG being a DRM-free catalogue of games where you buy it and you own it. Antstream isn't. You will. It's like Netflix, but for retro gaming, and you will own nothing by the time your subscription has come to an end. So it's not really what we were aiming for, but it is a service that should be mentioned, maybe because some people may benefit from it, like yourself.
Okay, I'll have a look at that for sure. And the other bit of feedback I've got is that did you realise, I didn't realise till this week, that Gemma, when you ask Gemma to, I know you don't use Gemma that much, you use the other services, but I do, and when you create an image in Gemma, the little kite mark, the diamond in the bottom right-hand corner, the watermark, has been now removed. Oh. And I did see an article about that online. It said that Google have, in Gemini, removed their watermark, and sure enough, they've done it. So that's much better, because quite often I had to kind of try and put the photograph back into Google Photos and say, and then delete the little diamond to get rid of it.
Yes.
So I don't need to do that anymore.
Well, I think it was last week or the week before, I was trying to do something, I think for Projector Room, I was trying to remove a logo at the bottom right-hand corner, and I put it into Gemini to remove it. They removed it and replaced it with their own. Oh, bollocks. So, yeah, that happened, and everyone was informed today. All right. Well, we've got news this week, and we're going to carry on with Gemma, and you're going to lead the way, because Gemini is becoming the default AI everywhere. What do you think about this?
Everywhere. Well, Google Assistant is going away in September, as we know. And so Google are basically baking in Gemini just everywhere across cars and smart home products and wearables and mobile devices and tablets and blah 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 blah. Even in automation, apparently, the automotive integration, General Motors in America and Volvo, they are getting deeply in bed with Google on this, and so if you buy a new one of their cars, that's what comes with it, and I'm sure that the same is true of other cars and other assistant bases, particularly Apple. But this whole ecosystem is just flowing out from Google, and they're just taking up all sorts of stuff. Google TV, Insta 360 cameras, smart glasses like X Reels Aura thingy. Even talking of Apple, even Siri utilizes stuff based on Gemini models inside what they're doing, and they're just getting it everywhere out there. And apparently, they're doing it in such a way that they are avoiding scrutiny from antitrust agents. I'm not quite sure I fully understand this, but the way in which they're doing it, it means that because it's deeply integrated into the Android platform, they're keeping it out of the way of being hauled into court about. Apparently, someone else probably will. Well, maybe you understand that more than I do. But the whole thing is this article we're linking to here just paints a picture of Google taking over the world with Gemini, putting it in absolutely everything out there, even hidden in some cases so you don't realise, and leaving everyone behind, and doing it in such a way that they can't get nobbled by the likes of the EU later on. Any thoughts?
I like the word nobbled. I think potentially the likes of the previous legalities that they've had, where Microsoft and things like that have taken Google to court, and vice versa, where Microsoft's been taken to court by various companies for putting in a default, a default browser on your desktop, a default search engine on your phone. They've learnt from that, and they're working their way to be able to put things into place without infringing on that legality that they've learnt in the past. So I would imagine that everything they're doing is perfectly legal, but it just sort of circumvents that one area that they've already been sued over in the past, or it's gone to court in the past and the decision made. So I think that this is probably a very strategic maneuver, and they would have done this earlier, but they were just waiting for the time to be right, and also for Gemini to be in such a fit state that they can stand by the results that it gives. But I always find that the results that an AI search engine or an AI large language model gives are only as good as, or for the first number of months before the next engine arrives. You'll hear, what is it? Mini Max or Mini Magic or something like that is the new big engine that people are getting really excited about, and it's creating some incredible imagery and video work that is, you can almost not tell. If you look really closely, you can tell that it isn't real, but it takes a bit of a trained eye, and you will be scratching your head thinking, is this real or not? And all the rest of them will start to fall back until they bring out their new latest version, and then they'll go ahead of that one. So they kind of constantly move the goalposts and establish a new benchmark. And Google has the ability to be able to take Gemini to the forefront, and their results are just genuinely good across the boards, that they should be able to contend with the best until their next engine comes along, and then they'll just push that as the main provider. It's a scary way of doing things, because it's not exactly fair on the end user, because most things are hidden behind a subscription model. So at some point, whenever you're using your phone, you're getting if you're using it free, or if you just buy your phone without Google's subscription, then you're going to get the lesser model. You're going to have a lesser experience unless you pay that bit extra. So it's looking like it's going to be a case of you have to buy a phone or a computer and then buy your subscription model on top of it to get it to do anything. And that way you're going to get better value for money, I suppose. No, well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they'll get money that they're not getting from selling hardware, particularly Google, because that's what they do. Up until now, they've got money in different ways, but now the emphasis is on monetizing services and not hardware. So, they've got to find a way of making the shareholders happy, haven't they?
They do, yeah. And ultimately, that's all that really matters. They've got to work out a new product to sell to people.
Yeah.
And that's what this is.
And the product is software.
Yeah, and it's going to be required for you to have it, essentially, at some point in the future.
Yeah.
And that's what all companies are striving for, a requirement.
Mm-hmm. We agree. And it's going to be baked into everything. And like I said earlier, sometimes you won't even know it if it's baked into a device that you just have no idea it's there. It's just these back-end services like Play Store and Play Google Play services. You have no idea they're there. They're just ticking away in the background.
Yeah, yeah. And I keep thinking, I know we haven't mentioned it here, but I'm a bit concerned about... Maybe it's not actually relevant, but it's worth mentioning that I saw a post on, I think it was Reddit, and then again on Twitter, where people were complaining about the BMW that they bought. And whenever they got into the car, the day that Spider-Man was opening, they were forced to sit through the trailer before they could start their car and get underway. So if you were racing to the hospital to take your pregnant wife to give birth, you would have to go, oh, hold on a second, we just have to wait for this trailer to be open.
Yeah, that's terrible, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Blimey.
And I can't help but think that whenever they start pushing subscription models, they will get lots of money coming in, but eventually it's going to start to wane and they're not going to be happy and they're going to want more, so they're going to take sponsored spots and start throwing more advertising at you, despite the fact you're paying for a level like Netflix or whatever where you don't want to be advertised at. And where you jump into your car to make a journey, that's not a time where you want to be sitting there for 2 minutes sitting through a trailer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, I suppose that's another debacle for another day, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll move on to Framework, because Framework has received substantial hardware refreshes, and it's replacing the original 13th generation Intel processors with Intel's new Core Series 3 chips. And this is going to be a really big benefit for the efficiency rather than the raw performance of the actual devices. So it's efficiency over performance. That's what's happening here. They're claiming that they're going to have 70% better battery life during, say, streaming on Netflix, as the article suggests, on their older Core 5 model. Or on their older Core i5 model as opposed to the Core 5 model, which is they're dropping the I. Maybe they should change it into AI. So the new units are going to have Core 3, Core 5, and for the first time on a Framework laptop, Core 7. And there's going to be more RAM. There's going to be configurations between 8 and 32 gigabytes. And the new machines can even support up to 48 gigabytes of RAM. And using DDR5 memory, which would be a big bolster, because I think it's DDR4 currently. They're going to have Thunderbolt 4 on there. 2 of the 4 interchangeable expansion card ports are going to support Thunderbolt 4. There's going to be an optional backlit keyboard and fingerprint reader, improved battery efficiency, which we've already mentioned, and then a Linux first approach, which is great. They haven't said anything about the issues that they've had with screens and things like that. There isn't a big sort of upgrade to the screen quality, which is a bit of a shame, because I think that's one of the places where framework laptops have fallen in the past, because the clarity is just not as good. The color representation isn't as amazing as you would like to think, and you might get better results elsewhere. Ted, what do you think? Framework laptops up your street?
The framework is the modular laptops, isn't
That's
it?
right.
The ones where you can replace all the parts, or at least quite a lot of the parts. So they've got this 13-inch version, and now they've got a 12-inch version
12.2.
by the looks of it. 12.2, yeah. So they've made a slightly smaller one, and they've improved the specs and blah blah blah, and they're going to charge $650 for. It depends on how good it is, doesn't it? Is that good value for money? $650. Let's say that ends up in the UK at 550 quid, and it's got loads of RAM, and it's got lots of ports and blah blah blah, and modularity, so you can change things. I suppose what it comes down to is, are these core chipsets better than what they had before, or are they better than the i that you referenced earlier? Is the Core 7 Series 3 chip better than a i7 chip? I don't know. It needs someone to really deep dive on the specs to see if it's worth doing this. If it's anything like, for example, Fairphone phones, then when you start breaking down the specs versus the price, it suddenly becomes expensive for what it is. And I don't know, I'm not expert enough here to know if that's the case. Are you?
Well, I think the question doesn't really need to be answered. What they're saying is that this is kind of the same power that you were getting this time last year. It's just on your day-to-day life, this is going to last longer. So if you leave the house with the laptop in the morning, and it used to get you on its battery up until after lunch without charging, this might get you up until before dinner without charging, and that's the main takeaway from this. Is it's a far more efficient system to be able to cover your daily life. So that could be a really big thing for probably most people, unless you're one of those people who are able to just leave the house, go into the office, plug in the office, and then go home. So battery life isn't for you. But increasing battery efficiency, I think, in most cases, is probably going to benefit the masses more so than a power boost. Power boost always eats battery life. As soon as you get a new phone coming out, you find that the battery lasts for maybe a day. Whereas if they were to make the components a lot more efficient, the phone might last for 3 days instead of 1, and people would love that. It means you don't have to worry about charging whenever you go on holiday or as much. So that's the big takeaway, I'd say.
Right. Fair enough. I've never actually seen any of these framework laptops for sale anywhere, I have to say. So whether they're not in the UK yet or not, or they're never going to be, I don't know. Is it? I wonder if it's an America only thing. Is it?
No, I think you can get them here as well. I did look into them a couple of years ago. Whenever one of the Linux chaps I was following on YouTube was reviewing one, and I thought, that might be quite good. But then I kind of went down a rabbit hole, and people were complaining about some of the hardware issues and how the company wasn't quite supporting those people who had hardware issues. And I can't remember the specifics because it was a while ago, but I know that they complained about the display, and that always sat out in my memory, and they haven't updated those displays. But there are other little issues in there that I don't think the company is quite competent in dealing with at the moment. But I might be wrong.
Right. The framework laptop 12 Core 3 is 699 quid. They do have a UK what's it, But that's on pre-order. In fact, all of their stuff is on pre-order. Have they actually? Oh, okay. So the bigger ones are already out there, but this new ones are on pre. These new ones, and it looks like you can. They've got a UK website, so you can at least probably buy it directly from them, if not from the likes of Amazon, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah.
$13.99 one of them is the Laptop 13 Pro DIY edition with an AMD Ryzen AI 300 chip.
Well, it's the modular things that I think people are going to be excited about, where you can actually just, if there's something on the laptop you're not using, you can get rid of it and put in something else in its stead. Or decide you want to upgrade that bit of hardware, you can go and get a change.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Right. TCL, they've got a new updated D2 Pro Palm Vein Smart Lock, which fixes some of the weaknesses of the original model. The limited smart home compatibility is one of the big things. So the new version adds Matter over Thread, which might be worth something in someone's book, allowing it to work with a much wider range of smart home ecosystems rather than just locking into TCL software. It's got palm vein scanning, which uses your palm to unlock the door by, well, you might be shocked to hear this, but by scanning the veins in your palm. You simply wave your hand in front of the sensor, it recognizes you, and that unlocks the door. I don't know.
Let me just explain a bit more. I did a bit of a dive on this. It uses infrared light, a harmless near-infrared beam towards the palm. Deoxygenated hemoglobin in the blood absorbs the light rather than reflecting it. Therefore, the scanner records a dark vein map, turning it into an encrypted digital template. The system stores this live signature against what it knows already because you've set it up. And as you say, you just have to hover your hand in the front of it. Internal vein arrangements cannot be easily photographed or lifted like fingerprints, so my research says. And also, it matters not if you've got cuts or dirt or dry skin or moisture, because it will just work anyway, whatever is on your hand. I doubt it will work if you've got a glove on your hand, but still. So I'm guessing that the Jedi reference, as you know, I know nothing about Star Wars, but I'm guessing that they did something like this in the films, did they?
Well, I'm pleased that you said Star Wars and not something else. That's a good start. Yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi uses his hand to change people's minds. These are not the droids you're looking for, and things like that. So it does that sort of thing. But the one thing that gets me is I did a little bit of a dive as well, because I was most interested to see whether it had to be alive or dead. Or, if you take a thumbprint, it doesn't work on a phone if there's no pulse or electrical skin particles or whatever it is. I wasn't able to find whether or not you cut someone's hand off and are able to open someone's door using it. Like in the movies.
Yeah. Oh no, because the blood would need to be, the hemoglobin in the blood still needs to be running through the veins, doesn't it? So if you cut the hand off, the flow would stop.
Okay, yes, all right. Unless you had a pump. which seems a bit, but no. Here, this could help prevent a robot apocalypse as well, because the robots won't be able to get into your house. Say for smashing a window, I suppose they've got metal hands and teeth and stuff, but they might go away. But there's people out there who don't have hands, like Captain Hook would have a problem getting into the house to get Peter Pan.
Have they really run out of biometric security stuff? They're just trying to dream up a new one. Surely the ones we've got are enough, aren't they?
Well, you always see in movies it scans people's eyes, and that hasn't come to pass yet. And they're doing this first. They're going to run out of orifices that you can actually scan.
Yeah, definitely. The I one, I would imagine, is probably a serious kind of blockage to the system, because they'll have to jump through so many hoops to make sure that it's done safely, and they're not going to make people blind in the process. Although, having said that, when you go to the opticians for a test, that white line they put across is pretty blinding, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never been to an optician for a test. I have 20/20 vision.
How do you know if you never had a test?
Because I can see everything. My wife actually used to be in an optician's, and she's tested me herself privately.
Very nice.
Right. So that's a thing that we can look forward to. Another thing that we can look forward to is the Sony WH-1000XM4C. You have a set of the XM4s, and I have a set of the XM6s that I'm currently wearing. But Sony has taken it upon themselves to bring back the very popular XM4s that a lot of people declined to move to the XM5s because the XM4s were so damn dishy. And the XM6s, I don't think maybe sold as well as they'd hoped, because people stayed with the XM4s. So what you do is you upgrade the XM4 and give the XM4 users something to buy, as opposed to going somewhere else whenever their XM4s eventually die. What can we expect from the XM4Cs?
Okay. So that's the key. Well, like we said last week, the only two things that I can see that is different is that the battery life is slightly less than my XM4s, and there's a newer upgraded version of Bluetooth. That's the two things. It's moved from Bluetooth 5 to 6, and the battery's not as good. But I was trying to work out, when you were talking there, why on earth, as an XM4 user, I would consider buying an XM4C. And then, of course, you threw in the key factor is that if mine broke. So yeah, fair enough. If mine broke and I wanted to pay £219.99 instead of the current price of the XM6s, which is probably about £350 or something, so £100+ more, then fair enough, I might consider that, if I wasn't bothered about the battery droppage. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't. The battery life is really good on them anyway. So yeah, thinking on my feet here, if my XM4s did die, I probably would save the money and pay the £219 and not the £350 for the XM6s. That's me decided.
Right, okay. Well, I think it maybe comes from the point where XM6s are getting some negative press because they keep breaking, as we mentioned before, but the XM4Cs are essentially identical. They've got the 40mm drivers that you expect. It's got 4 Hz to 40 kHz. It's got ANC. It's got Bluetooth 6 in it instead of Bluetooth 5. The battery, under noise cancellation, takes a wee bit of a dip, where the XM4s are 30. These are 27. With the ANC off, the XM4s are 38. These are 34. NFC has apparently been removed on the C's, whereas it's still there on the 4s.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Apparently.
No, I will not have that. I do not believe that is true. Battery life going from 30 hours and from 38 with no. ANC's still there. I don't buy that at all. It downgrades the battery life, and it's quoting.
No, NFC is being removed, not ANC.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said ANC.
No, ANC is the battery life
Sorry.
is not quite as
Sorry.
Maybe I said it wrong.
I apologise profusely.
They're the same weight pretty much, and everything else is pretty much the same, although they come in slightly different colours. And they're...
Oh no, hang on a minute. The NFC has not been removed. The NFC logo is being removed. The NFC will still work.
Okay, all right. I've got it here that no, NFC has been removed. Yeah, okay. Maybe that article is wrong if you're saying that somewhere else has confirmed that it's there. Okie doke. But the price is a lot lower, so that probably makes the big change. And also, it's a dependable design that's not going to break as easily.
Certainly is.
Because people have the XM4s
And you can plug a
for
cable
years.
in. And you can plug a cable in too.
Yeah. I think you can do that on the XM.
Oh, actually, I'm assuming that they haven't taken that away with the XM4C. There's no mention of 3.5mm, and the pictures don't show the bottom of it, do they? I hope they haven't taken it away.
Oh, yeah. There's no mention of it in the. I've got two other articles open here, and no 3.5.
Oh dear, I hope that's not true. Even though I only just made it up, it's just that it's just not mentioned. So while you're hammering your keyboard to find out, I'll just warble on about the fact that you can get them in a black colour and a white colour and a, what the fuck is that? It looks like plum. No, not plum. It's too light for plum.
Lavender.
A light purple. Oh yeah, lavender. Of course it is. It's lavender. So I think the colour range has been dropped as well because my pair are black and the white ones were always there. But I got a feeling you could get it in a blue as well. I'm fairly sure they brought a blue one out. Anyway, have I wasted enough time? Have you found out?
Well, according to ChatGPT, the XM4Cs have a 3.5mm according to leaked specifications.
Hurrah!
So we're not saying absolutely, but Ted'll cock a hoop, I think the phrase is.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be without that because it can be really handy when you don't want to have any latency stuff going on and you want to plug straight into your computer and blah, blah, blah. So, yes, handy.
In it just. Right, moving on to a far more exciting topic, and that's the Amiga. Retro Games Limited has confirmed that the upcoming A1200 retro computer, which is a remake of the Amiga 1200 that was due to be out already, but it's been pushed back to Christmas, will officially carry Amiga branding. Not Commodore, that is, but Amiga branding, which is the company's announced that the machine is now licensed and will use the Amiga name, describing it as a new chapter in the brand. The announcement recently it's due to a recent agreement involving the Amiga Corporation and Retro Games Limited and the bringing together of all the different branding and things over the years and making it less of a mess. So this is not a Commodore product. It is an Amiga brand. However, they're all friends again, which is great. And I'm chuffed because the one thing that I get a bit, not irked about, but the one thing I think is missing from my little Sinclair Spectrum is the fact that it says retro across the top as opposed to Sinclair, which I would very much prefer. So having this with at least Amiga on it and the Amiga emblem is a nice addition to it. And I think Amiga OS 5 will be running on this, but they've also announced that it's going to have Defender of the Crown included. So that's Settlers 2 and Defender of the Crown on the computer when you buy it. I can't wait. It's going to be a great Christmas.
Looks like a lovely bit of kit. It looks like a very, very retro-looking bit of kit. And there's one of those joysticks. Oh, no, it's not. It's a controller.
Yeah, actually, that's a joypad. It's not a controller, it's a joypad.
Right. I'll have to look up the Amiga games to see if there's anything I know.
There will be. Gods. You'll love Gods and Lemmings. Yeah.
Oh, I remember Lemmings. Lemmings was on my Game Boy, I think.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the best you're coming up with, Lemmings on the Amiga. Or
how much is this A1200 going to be? Do we know?
Well, when I pre-ordered it, it was £149. I think with the RAM increases and things like that, they pushed it up to £179. I'll have a look at my pre-order and see what it's sitting at the moment. Just you can entertain the folks while I do this.
Okay then. I'm dreaming of a Christmas when all your Christmas... Is that the kind of entertainment you meant? Or was it something
No, I think
tech-orientated?
everybody's gone. Nice one.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell everyone while I'm waiting.
No, you won't.
While we're waiting,
£169.95, and it's going to be released on the 4th of December. My pre-order was done on the 5th of November 2025, so that's over a year. Ooh, can't wait.
Good grief. What I was going to say was that 149 quid it says here.
That's what the initial price was, but it's gone up.
It says it's going to be released on the 16th of June as well. That's not true, is it?
No.
16th of June has come and gone.
Yeah, that's what I was saying when I originally introduced the article.
10th of November. I probably wasn't listening to you because you're so boring. The 10th of November 2025 launch. Oh no, that was to put your so you must have put your pre-order down then. Anyway, what I was going to say was that actually, when you told me the price of this thing, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be more than that. I thought you were going to say it's like about 300 quid or something, but 100 and something quid is not so bad.
£170, and this is a fully offline computer that you can update through the internet via a different computer, which is probably the best way to do it. But it's going to run a fully fledged operating system and have a fully working keyboard and mouse and a joystick. Joypad, Joy controller, and I can't wait. I think I'd love to see this becoming a big thing as people get more and more tired of being constantly connected and want to disconnect, and they start using things like this.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Even as a non-gamer, I like the look of that.
Yeah. All right, you're going to take us forward into another new section called "You're right, Chuck. Let's look at the Googlebook Nook."
Where do you get these from?
I don't know. I was drunk.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was drunk at the time. Google has officially scheduled an in-person media preview in New York for the Googlebook launch. So there's no public event going on. You're not allowed to go. No one else is allowed to go, except by invitation. But I understand that they will be streaming it on YouTube, so we can watch the keynote at least. And that's going to be on the 15th of September, Tuesday the 15th of September. At a time which I can't remember. But I started to look into the whole kind of thing again of Google Books and what they're about and why they're different. I got a statement from a few sources saying that Chrome OS, because my question was, why is a Google Book going to be different from a Chromebook, which has got the Android stuff baked in, so it's effectively you've got all your Android apps on it anyway. How is Aluminium OS going to change that? Why will it be different? And the answer was that Chrome OS was always a web browser aping a desktop with Android apps slapped on as an afterthought in a laggy virtual container. Aluminium OS flips that around. Google isn't building a web OS that runs mobile apps anymore. They're building a native Android desktop engine from the ground up on Android, based on Android 17. If the Googlebook leaks mean anything, it's that Google is finally fed up with shipping glorified cloud terminals, i.e. Chromebooks, for schools, particularly the education department. They want direct hardware access, native performance, system-level Gemini, and proper Windows Mac tier silicon. So in other words, what we said on the last show or the show before, which is about Google going after Windows users, get them in the education system using Google Books, and then they won't switch over to Windows or Mac later on if the Google Books are good enough and if Aluminium OS is flexible enough to avoid having to leave the ecosystem. So what they conclude is by saying Chrome OS had a good run, but the Googlebook era is where Android finally stops pretending it's just a phone OS. So this is the switchover, and that was what I kind of took away from it. We spoke on the last show about the fact that Asus and Dell and Lenovo are releasing hardware. So we'll put some links into the show notes about that, but there's also some pricing details coming through now, and some core specs. So, for example, the Asus version of the Googlebook is going to have a Core Ultra 5325 chip, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabytes. As we said on the last show, that seems to be the nerdy one, the beefed up one, but it's also going to have a high price. Now, the question is anyone going to be considering paying 1,500 quid or thereabouts for a Googlebook based on their experience so far with a Chromebook with Android bolted on? I think personally, I don't know what you think, but I think that's going to be a hard sell for Google. People are going to look at that price and say, well, hang on a minute, for 1,500 quid I can get an awful lot of Windows computer or Mac computer. Now the other ones, to be fair, the Dell and the Lenovo ones, don't forget the Lenovo one's going to be a 2-in-1, so like a Duet. In fact, they're going to call it a Duet. Those ones clearly are going to be cheaper. They're not going to be 1,500 quid. They're probably going to be more like about between 500 and 1,000 or something. But even so, still more expensive. You know, Google have got to somehow pay for their R&D on the aluminium OS and the time they've spent doing it and honing this whole thing over time. The other question, as we've posed before, is about what people do with the Chromebooks they've got. I'll come to my my little new Duet in a minute, but that is guaranteed updates to 2034. 2034 is 9 years away. And so what's going to happen with that? What are Google doing with that? Is aluminium OS a thing that you can flash onto hardware? We don't really know yet. And this event on the 15th of September, I'm sure that the media people that have been invited to the event are going to be asking those hard questions if Google don't answer them. I think I'm done. Your turn.
I think they should invite you. Someone out there, some media darling, needs to invite you so that you can ask these questions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. I'll get on the Titanic and head across.
But I think that's an important point that needs to be made out, because you're wanting this to succeed. You're genuinely excited about it, but you still have some reservations about what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, as I say, on that event, that they will clear it all up. You know, when things have been leaked to buggery before events, we complain because we know it all and there's no point in the event. When they keep the shades on it and keep it quiet, we're also complaining because we want to know. So, what are they supposed to do? Is there a middle road? Tell us it all and we'll complain. Don't tell us anything and we'll complain.
Well, yeah, that's true. And from what I know, that there's Asus, Lenovo. Is anyone else involved?
Yeah, Dell. So Dell have got one. The Lenovo one is the 2-in-1, as I say. That's the Duet. The Asus one is going to be the flagship, all singing, all dancing, even up to allegedly 64 gigs of RAM, for example. And the Dell one looks like it's going to probably sit in the middle somewhere, but it's not going to be a 2-in-1. It's not going to be like a Duet. It will be a proper laptop form device.
I wonder what they're going to do with Chrome OS then. It's been over a decade that they've been building that with enthusiasm at some points during that. Is it just going to be dropped entirely and forgotten about?
Yeah, I think it will. But as I said earlier, they've got to wait until 2034 to do it. Yeah. Or let people, install aluminium OS over the top. And if they do that, then fine. But also, you've got an awful lot of Chromebooks out there that are really under-specified, which was one of their points, from the outset, really, is that we'll give you a Chrome OS device, a Chromebook, which is cheap as chips, but actually the in order to run Chrome OS, it doesn't need much decent hardware. But if now Googlebooks and Aluminium OS is going to need some beefier hardware, those old Chromebooks won't work anyway. I'm hoping that my Duet, which I'll come to in a minute, will actually survive. In fact, perhaps I ought to go there now. So the Companio 838 Chromebook Duet 11, I bought from one of our lovely people in our community, our classifieds in MeWe, for 129 quid. I've got the Duet 3 from back in the day, and I never wanted to upgrade to the new Compagno one, mainly because it's not hugely different from the one I've got anyway, but it was just like 500 quid. Well, it started off at 400, it's now 500 nearly. To buy a new one. But anyway, someone sold it to me for 129 quid, so I snapped their hand off and I got it. And yes, there's definitely an upgrade going on here. It feels snappier, better. It's got it's got this Compagno 838 chipset instead of the Snapdragon 7C Gen 2. Now the Snapdragon, the 7C Gen 2 was no slouch, but yeah, certainly the Compagno one is better. It also comes with a origami case thingy for the back, which means you can use it up either way up, and it's got its stand. They've also added a 3.5mm audio jack, and it's got a better camera for those that want that. And it also comes with, in the kit, a USI pen too. So, and on the back of the case, there's a really, really strong magnet to put the pen into. The whole little kit, and it's a 2-in-1. So you can take the keyboard off, you can take the case off, you can strip it right down if you want to and use it as a tablet. Really, really nice little device, and it's a decent upgrade for 129 quid. I don't think if you've got the 3, you'd want to pay 400 and 500 quid for one, because it's not hugely that different. But 129 quid, which is what I got it for, is a really nice one. And it's also got 2 USB-Cs. So you can put you can do data or use it as a second screen or a monitor or whatever, plug it into something else and charge it at the same time. So that all works really nicely because I've tested it. And the only thing that I can complain about it with is that it has not got a micro SD card slot. So 128 gigabytes is all you get. That's it. And if you want more, you've got to somehow try and plug in a USB-C card reader or something to expand your storage. But apart from that, I've got no complaints at all. It's really, really nice. The battery seems to work really well. And the guy that sold it to me, Jeremy Harpham, he, by his own admission, he barely used it, so it's all but new, really. And I'm delighted to have got that bargain. So sorry to leave about the show notes there, but it seemed appropriate.
No, you're fine. It's quite interesting, and I hear what you say about having dual USB. That would be wonderful. I mean, I have to carry around a dongle with. I lent that dongle to someone. I don't have it. Oh, no. I lent it to someone last week. So I can charge my tablet as well as output, which is a pain. But, yeah. Nice. It's a good-looking device. I remember when it was coming out and you were... Well, there we go again. Yeah, you were very excited about it.
Yeah, I was, but I just could never, because I had the 3, I could never bring myself to fork out the money. But opportunity knocked now. And sure enough, as I said earlier, 2034, depending on what Google do. But they do have to commit. They have committed to supporting it, at least with security, if not any features, until 9 years' time. So, it's safe to use.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. What are the speakers like? Are the speakers good?
Yeah, they are. I was quite surprised that how good they were. They're not as good as my Android Lenovo tablet, which is, as we know, a beefy, sound-orientated Lenovo device. But they're certainly better than the Duet 3 speakers, and perfectly usable and listenable too, if that's a phrase I'm allowed to use.
I'm just looking. You've put a link in the show notes to this on Curry's, and it's still for sale for £479. Wow.
Yeah, it is. So that's why I was holding off. It started off at $399, but now, yeah, $479. But you might find it cheaper elsewhere, of course, particularly in our classifieds.
Yeah, absolutely. For almost a 3-year-old tablet. Which, all right. Well,
it's not. No, it's not three. Oh, yes, it is. Okay, but the support is. It was released in 2024, and the support is 10 years, so it's 2034. So it's not really 3 years old. It's more like 2 years old.
I'd love to fast forward to 2034 and see if you're still using this then.
Yeah, of course. Because by then, me being me, I will definitely have a Googlebook. There's no question at all. But I will be able to, in a couple of years' time, sell this one on to someone and sell it on the back of, this will be supported to 2034, you know.
I'm sure they'll be mustard keen to buy that. Well, we may as well stay with the bot report because we're here, and then we'll go back to the banters later on. You've bought something else as well. You're on a bit of a shopping spree.
Yeah, opportunity knocked, and Jim Fowle was wanting to update his Boox Note Air 4C to an Air 5C, and he said, "I'll flog you this one if you like, and then that can go towards my 5C." So I got that. As you might remember, I did try the Boox Go Color 7 Gen 2 last year, and I sent it back because the colours were so washed out and unusable that I really didn't. It was just horrible to use. So I thought this will be better, and I got Jim to send me a couple of pictures of the screen, and I thought, yeah, maybe. So I thought it was worth the risk. So I got it in, and the bad news is that it might be a bit better than the 7 was, but it's really washed out. I don't think they've done the colour properly on these devices yet. It needs further development before it's user ready, I think. And I've put some comics on it and magazines on it, and I've pushed the settings up to crank them up to their maximum to make the best of it, and it's kind of okay, but it's just so far removed from an AMOLED screen. It is nice to write on. That I'll give it that. It's got a nice. It comes with a pen, as I say, so you can write on the screen, and it has a kind of papery feel. That's quite good. And the other thing to say is that it has a case with it, and it is colour. I said that colour's crap. I'm not sure really if I'm going to keep it yet or not. I think I might move it on, and I have got someone in the group, Chris Kelly, who said that he is interested in buying it if I decide to give up. At the moment, I feel as though I will be giving up. I'm not convinced that it's not going to annoy me. I like e-ink readers and notebooks, but the black ones are just so much better. I think they just need to develop this colour thing, this colour layer that sits under the screen, much more before they can say that it's decent or anything like the mono ones. Because the mono ones, like, looking at a Kindle device, they're just brilliant, so clear and sharp and everything. But introduce this colour layer, and it just all goes away, even with a front light. So, yeah, I'm not convinced, and watch this space, but it probably won't last very long.
Fair enough. Well, they serve one purpose really, and if it's doing that, then can't expect much else.
The other thing that before I leave that is really annoying is that I put my I tried to put my Google account on it because it's got Android on it, Android 13, but because I've switched on advanced protection for my Google account, I can't sign into it. And so I started to ask Gemma about why not and blah, blah, blah. And she gave me the lowdown, which basically was that you have to get permission from Google to turn it off. So if you want to turn off advanced protection on your Google account, you've got to get permission from Google to do it, and Google make you wait 24 hours until they let you do it, to make sure it's you and to make sure that you're sure you want to do it. And so I'm now 2:30 this afternoon, in 2 hours and 6 minutes time, that presumably they're going to send me an email that then gives me the permission to turn off advanced protection, at which point I can then go back to the Boox device and start to use the Google apps. So that's a bit of a pain in the arse, because who wants with a new shiny device to wait 24 hours for anything? Not me.
And whose fault is that? Is that Boox or Google's?
It's well, Google will argue that advanced protection protects your account, and if you get some Boox e-ink reader from China, you know that they're protecting you against that being in some way dodgy, or someone else signing into your account, or blah blah blah. So you know, on the basis of security, it's good, but maybe it's just a step too far. I did actually sign into the thing with my unprotected account. I've got another Google account, and it works fine. And I'm sure there's no real danger signing into a Boox device with your Google account. You know, it's just, you know, if you turn on these kind of fancy over-the-top tools, you've got to expect what you get. It's a bit like Samsung's Knox and Motorola's whatever they call it, I can't remember now. There's a layer of protection that they bake into it, but you know, if you want to do something out of the ordinary, then you've got to go back and negotiate that.
Yeah, well, you can find these things frustrating and things like that, but I suppose security is the most important thing, really.
Indeed.
Yes. All right, in the banter section, we're going to go with Ted, because you've been having a bit of trouble with something that I've mentioned in the past.
Yeah, you have. I have to at last tip my hat to you, because you used to complain about Windows computers being hijacked by OneDrive, and I used to sit here and think, that's never happened to me. And you know, I'm basically thinking you must be dreaming it, or you must be mad or something, or both. But this week, yes, there is an article that I'll link to in the show notes by XDA developers, where they have said that Microsoft have made a huge mistake. They accidentally rolled out OneDrive to everyone, but it's not actually the OneDrive software. It's the OneDrive hooks into so. Just to explain, I when I went to save a picture one day, it's saving it into not my desktop, which is where it was set to save my images, but it's saving it to the desktop inside OneDrive. And so it's made on my computer via the registry editor, I suppose, by the registry. A new location, and switched it all to being that in OneDrive, and not my own one, which is my own desktop. So yeah, coming back to the whole thing that it used to happen. But when I uninstalled OneDrive back in the day, it stopped all that, and I got round it. Well, this is auto-downloaded with the latest Windows update, and just make sure you're aware that, you know, where your stuff is being saved now. Now, it's not the whole OneDrive software application. It's just all the hooks, like I said. And I went on the rampage with Gemma, and I said to her, you know, what is this going on? I gave her the article to look at, and she said, yeah, you're quite right. This is a complete cock-up by Microsoft. And here's how to fix it. And then she led me through this deep dive into the regedit and unpicked loads of changes that Microsoft have made. and changed it back to what it should be. Basically, yeah, their update has hijacked everyone's computer with OneDrive, but not OneDrive itself, the OneDrive hooks, and made you loads of folders where they shouldn't be. I fixed it now, but most people, like my dad, for example, he was totally confused. He saved something to his desktop, and it wasn't there. It wasn't on his desktop, and it turns out it's in OneDrive's version of his desktop. Really, really annoying. Microsoft's a bunch of tossers, frankly, for doing that. And to be fair, I haven't seen this before like you used to, but this was the first time, and that was just enough.
Well, yeah, but from the other side of this, where people who are not as content with going and investigating, actually doing the legwork, are probably just going to leave it as is. And I don't think Microsoft have any plans to go back and actually correct what they've done, because that would be meddling with people's data, and you could end up losing some things that were saved to the desktop, for example, and then they try to move it back to the desktop. It doesn't actually work. How do they move it back to your desktop whenever they don't have access to your computer? So it just creates a problem for people who, most of which might not notice. My wife likely wouldn't notice. She just wants to sit down and use her computer for what she's using it for, and then turn it off. You know, she doesn't spend any time tinkering, and a lot of people are like that. And if you can imagine this going out in enterprise as well, where, you know, that causes a big problem for so many people. I don't know how or whether or not enterprise was affected by this, or they were able to do something about it as it arrived. But it just gets Microsoft a load more information. So the only people who actually benefit from this are actually Microsoft, and they can go, oh, whoops, look what we did. Oh, dear me.
Oh, dear.
And they go and get a whole bunch of information, up-to-date information on what people are doing through this mistake. Again.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Naughty us. Slap on the wrist.
Yeah. Just imagine that accidentally unlocked your doors and went in and had a look through all your drawers. That's what Microsoft have done. Again.
Really annoying.
Yes.
Absolutely, totally agree with you. And it was one of the first times I said to myself this week, that bugger was right. Linux wouldn't have done this.
No. But I will say that I'm looking forward to, is it the 20th of September? Because Samsung and OneDrive are ending their relationship. Not from the point of view that Samsung and OneDrive are ending their relationship, but it means that Samsung will stop reminding me that Samsung and OneDrive are ending their relationship. They can leave me alone.
Right.
Because I don't use it, but I constantly see all these bubbles on menus and things like that, yes, on the 20th of September, we're ending our relationship. It's like, I don't use it. I just want to get rid of it. It's all shut down and disabled and uninstalled, and I'm interested to see whether or not Samsung actually push out some form of update to remove the integration that OneDrive has in One UI and the Android operating system that they are actively maintaining. Because if they don't, that's a wee bit of a concern, and Microsoft could accidentally update something that pushes it out and pulls in more people's information. Because I don't trust them. I don't trust any of these big companies at all.
Samsung could easily remove OneDrive, for example, from their Files application, and they probably would do that. But if you've got deeper integration elsewhere inside, right, like we were talking about Nox just now, you know, if there's stuff baked into Nox, that might be more tricky. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it was really forced upon people, and I don't like that. And if you don't use it, you know, it's not that you had an alternative either. Google should have been suing or Samsung for forcing OneDrive as opposed to other alternatives. You know, it'd be great if it was just if you have cloud, okay, just bring in your cloud APK or API, and then you can do this function. You can synchronize, and if you use pCloud, then great. If you use Google Drive, then great. But instead, it's OneDrive or nothing, and we're going to be a pain in the ass about OneDrive for the duration of your use of this phone.
I sometimes wonder if it'd be easier just to give in and just bake yourself into the Microsoft world.
No thanks. I'd rather have my testicles smashed to smithereens. I'm done with Microsoft. Windows 98 is the way forward.
Excellent.
Right, bargain basement, where I don't see any Windows 98. But we'll start with Ted.
Ah, yes. The Razer Siren V3 Chroma is a microphone, an RGB USB microphone, which has got 40% off. It's now £84.59 from £139.99, and they're offering me £16.92 a month for 5 months in a row. And it's very, very pretty. It's very Mac looking. It's very white, but it's very razorish. In fact, the black one is even cheaper now. It wasn't the other day. The black one is £83.29, so that doesn't look so Mac-like. And there's also a pink one, which is very, very pretty. Lovely. But that one's nearly £100. But they're all cheaper. So yeah, 84 or 83 quid for those Razer microphones, and they are USB ones, and they do give you lots of pretty lights when you talk into them.
Yeah, this is a good looking microphone actually, especially the black. I can't say I'd like the white at all. It might get stains on it if you eat some chocolate pudding or coffee and spit while you're talking. But yeah, the black one looks good. Yeah, cool, and a bargain price at that. Yep. Next up is Tapo, and I quite like Tapo because it fully integrates into my Home Assistant quite nicely. And this is the Tapo T110 Smart Door Alarm. I've got 2 of these, and I find them tremendously handy. You can put them on doors, windows, cat flaps, and it can just send you a notification whenever they open and close. You can also set them up to do certain things. So if it's the evening and you walk in through the front door and you've got one of these, you can click it open, or whenever you open the door, it can turn on some lights for you, the landing light, the porch light, or whatever. And there you go. You can stick it on your cat flap so you know whether or not your cat is in or out. Or a cat is in or out. I'll phrase it that way because it's harder to tell. Or it could activate a camera, and then it could take a photograph of the cat coming in through the cat flap and then send it to you. Oh, that's a good idea. Right, there's my afternoon. I'm going to set that up.
Having previously said that all this smart stuff is not for me, I've got a Tapo plug that I put my lamp into just because you can, and I've also got one at Dad's house which I can control. But actually, this looks like it would be quite useful, I have to admit. I don't have a cat flap, but you could certainly set it up to, to alarm a door in case someone breaks in the night or something. Mm-hmm. And for £11.99, or there's a 2-pack for
£23.98.
Yeah, but pretty much the
you
same.
You can also
double price,
put this in subscribe and save for 1 month and get it for £10.19. I've just noticed because I did that with the Rio Link hub and got 15% off it on top of the deal that was already on, because they must have accidentally clicked the wrong button in the background. But having a bunch of these around the house is really handy, especially on an old person's house, so you can see their comings and goings. If they were to go out in the morning and not come back, then you can do a search for them, or hook it up to a camera and have a bunch of things that actually happen whenever these are activated, depending on the time of day. Tapo's really smart.
I've got 2 in my basket now.
Hey, that's good news. And if you do subscribe and save, you'll get them even cheaper.
Yeah, very nice indeed. Very good shout. I should use my Tapo system more than I do. Next up is Logitech, the MK540 Advanced Wireless Keyboard and Mouse Combo. and it looks very nice, as most Logitech stuff is. I was banging on about the Razer keyboard last week, and the keys on this Logitech MK540 do actually look like very much like the Razer style ones, with the same kind of domed, reverse domed frontages, and they look as though it's very nicely laid out. You also got a built-in wrist rest. The mouse looks really basic and it's probably crap, but anyway, this has been reduced from 50 quid to 26.55, and it looks very nice indeed. We do like Logitech.
We do-ish, although I did see a report about Logi Plus options yesterday, and people were recommending uninstalling it because it's a wee bit of an invasion of privacy or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, there's certain things you can't do with it uninstalled, but the basics work, and you don't need it switched on. You don't need it installed.
No. I use it all on Linux, and I don't think there's a client for Linux, so it all works nicely. Although the button on the MX4, I haven't got that to work effectively. The big button where your thumb sits for whatever it is it does. I can't even remember now. I haven't looked into it in that long. Right, last week, whenever I had my computer woes, I went looking for a potential storage option because I thought my SSD might have died. But I wasn't able to find too many, but I did happen to notice two, and one of which I preferred over the other for weird reasons. I think it's the Samsung 990 Pro or something like that is a decent price, but the Crucial P310 2TB SSD M.2 NVMe is 15% off at the moment, down to £185.73, or you can get that for £37.15 over 5 months. And I thought that was a really good deal for just a good SSD. I don't think it beats the Samsung in performance, but if you're not wanting to do it, or you want to use this as a secondary drive because it's 2 terabytes to install, I don't know, like Steam games or something like that, or use as a bit of sort of storage for your apps and things like that you have running there as opposed to your main drive, then this is a really good functioning NVMe. And I think looking into this buffers as well. It's got buffering, if memory serves, but I can't see it in the description. But it popped up as one that you should entertain if you're into buffering. It doesn't have TLC NAND, which is the drawback, but it does have buffering, and it's not compatible with the PS5. That was a couple of things I took away from it. But for £185 for 2 terabytes, that's pretty good at the moment.
Very nice, yeah. But you got past your blockage anyway, didn't you?
I did, yes. It was a dodgy update for the Linux firmware. Not working with my graphics card, which is a bit of a pain. But let us sort out, and a new one will present itself soon enough.
Indeed. Right, next one is another microphone, and it's the one that used to be made by another firm before Logitech bought them out. Who was it? Blue.
Yes.
No, not Blue. Yeti. That's the and Logitech bought them out. Anyway, this was the one that we all were buying back in the day, years ago, and it's still there, solid. This is the G Blue Yeti USB microphone, and it's really solid, it's really good, it's really heavy, and it comes with this meaty stand on it. And the reason I put it in here is that I've just never seen it so low priced as this. I do not believe £76.49. I've seen it at 80 something, but never 76. And unfortunately, it's only in the white colour, so it won't suit you. The black one is 85 quid, which is not the lowest price ever. But you can also get this one in pink too. Back in the day, you used to be able to get a blue one, and that was really nice. But yeah, £76.49 is the lowest price I've ever seen this, and it's very, very good as a USB microphone.
You said you could kill people with this, couldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so heavy. It's like a brick.
Oh, the blue one is there. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's not listed with all of those, but there's a link to it. I was shown at the top of the screen, and it's £85 or £17 a month.
Oh, yeah, so it is. That blue one was nice.
Yeah, it's a nice colour. A bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is a Reolink camera that I thought was actually quite cool. I hadn't seen any company do this type of thing really before, so I picked one up. It's the Reolink Argus Magicam. This is a magnetic, wire-free battery security camera for outdoors, and you can just charge it up and shove it somewhere and let it record. It'll if you've got it on a wireless network, it'll integrate into your hub or your Reolink software, and you can view it that way. And I want to put this to the test a wee bit to see whether or not it, if I was to stick it to the side of my car or something like that, can I Wi-Fi to it via ad hoc and use it on my phone or capture stuff. It's not a GoPro per se, and it's only it's $49.99, but it's down 15% off at the moment, which makes it $42.49. But it's one of those little ones that you could pull out whenever you go on holiday, and hopefully, I'm interested to see how much the battery actually lasts. It says 9 months battery life, which might be. I've got the Reolink doorbell, and I think the battery on that lasts about 9 months, but that's whenever people use it. So it goes off, or about that. This might be, if it was to use AI or whatever, and to like a detection mode of anyone walking past, it might significantly reduce because it's constantly doing that. So it might be only a month or a few weeks or whatever. But it's a useful thing to be able to throw around the house and be able to record if you go on holiday and things like that. So it's a really neat little device that I quite like the look of, and you're not nailed down to as to where you put it. So I'm going to play with one of these and see how it goes. One of them's $42.49. There's a 2-camera setup which is £80, and I had tinkered with buying that, but then I couldn't quite justify where I was going to put the other one. And there's a 2-camera kit that comes with the hub as well, and that's £130. Or it's not the hub. I don't know what hub that is. I have the hub. It's the Hub Mini, which might be slightly different to the one I have. But Reolink is a really good open set of cameras that you can use and tap into. So I think this is a really decent little deal, and I bought one.
I like the nicest thing about that whole thing is the magnetic bit. You can just stick it to a fridge or something, and just any metal. Obviously, have I told you about how magnets work? So you could just plonk it anywhere that you've got some metal. That's just great. More things should be metallic. I mean, should be magnetic. I reckon.
Well, you can't.
Good idea.
You can't put it on something that is positively charged. A piece of metal that is already magnetic.
Yes, that's true, I suppose. As long as the thing's got a bit of metal on the back. The whole plastic won't work. Yeah. All right, I put the Microsoft Surface laptop in here, not really knowing a huge amount about it. But what attracted to me was that it's virtually half price. I couldn't believe it. It's just got the Snapdragon 8 Elite 12, so the 12 core one. It's got 1 terabyte SSD inside, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's a 13.8 inch Microsoft spit Surface laptop, and it just looks like amazing value for money. 1,099 quid, and it's reduced from its RRP of 1949. Now, it has been less than that before, but never has it been quite as cheap as it is now. And it does look very, very nice if you want to go off trusting Microsoft, of course. And I thought I would just mention it because someone might just want it. And if they use my affiliate link, I might even get about 10 quid if they buy it. Go and buy one.
Yeah, I bet this comes with OneDrive on it.
Yeah, but it does too.
Every time you turn it off, it'll
but
reinstall it.
It's got a touch screen as well, which is nice. I don't know if it comes with a pen. Does it come with a pen?
No.
I don't think it does actually, no. So, yeah, there's that. Anyway, yeah, it looks like a really nice laptop.
And you can trade in your old laptop for it as well.
Or can you?
Apparently so. All right.
Oh, yeah, you can. Save up to 1,028 quid. So if you've got the right device to trade in, you virtually get this for nothing. In fact, you get it for 50 quid.
Nice. You can keep it, thanks. I'd rather have one of these. This is the AMD Ryzen 9 9950X 3D processor. This thing is a beast. It's £490 on Amazon currently, which I think is pretty incredible. It used to be, I don't know, over 500, 550 maybe. But at 490, it's worth maybe starting to think about an upgrade path. But you're going to probably need a new motherboard, and you'd need to get some DDR5 RAM, which is going to cost one of your kidneys. But for the processor, oh wow, I'd love this. £490. That's not too bad given the amount that is in there. And actually, the first comment I see in the reviews is someone says "beast of a ting." So yeah, wow. And if you're a gamer, this thing will just destroy any game you throw at it, if you've got a decent graphics card as well. Nice.
Very nice.
Well,
I haven't got much to say about that, really.
It would seem.
Except I'm very pleased that you're pleased.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. All right. Well, if you want to get in touch with us, you can by emailing us at gareth@techaddicts.uk. We are also on Twitter as well. There is Tech Addicts UK, and then there's me at Gareth Myles, GarethMyles. There is currently a man walking up my driveway. I don't know who he is, and he doesn't have a package, so it is possible my doorbell could sound any second now. I also have Mastodon, Blue Sky, and my GarethMyles.com. Ted, where can they find you?
On MeWe most of the time, but if they want to track me down, otherwise it's at tedsalmon.com. Links to all of our audio podcasts and all of our MeWe groups are there. And if you want to buy me a coffee, you can do that. It's at paypal.me/tedsalmon. Thank you so much. We'll be back with our season finale next week, when it's Gareth's turn to talk much, much more than I have on this one.
Oh, people won't tune in then. And the man hasn't rung the doorbell at all. I don't know who he is, what he wants, but he's away off down the driveway again. He's got nothing in his hand, so he didn't nick anything. Maybe he just dropped something.
He left a bomb.
Well, who drops things off on a Sunday morning? Really? Honestly? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll catch us all next week. Take care now.
Bye.